Hi everyone, my micro teaching lesson is on Think, Pair, Share. And Think, Pair, Share is a collaborative learning strategy in which students work together to solve a problem or answer questions. And as you know, I'm sure most of you have used this strategy before. The first thing is that they think, and they think individually. So they would be given 3 or 4 minutes to think about a question that they were given or some type of activity that the teacher would give them for them to think about individually. Then they're going to pair with a peer. So this is where they would share their ideas with a peer or a small group. When they pair together, it gives them an opportunity to work together and maybe think about things they didn't think about before. When someone else says something, it might trigger something for someone else to think about. And then we would come together as a whole group and share our ideas. So we come together as a large group. And this would allow the whole class to come up with ideas together. So for my activity, I will do this strategy as a before reading activity. So I would give the students this type of sheet to fill out for character, setting, problem, and solution with the book To the Sea by Cale Atkinson. And I would also give the students this sheet to think about, ways we can partner talk. So it gives them some things to think about while they're talking with their partner. And this is something good for them to think about. It teaches them good communication skills, because I know some of our students need help with that. So they can talk about what they're thinking about, something that they're noticing, maybe something they're wondering they can't believe. It reminds them of something, and this is a good thing. They can connect to something that maybe they've seen before or something they've learned before. They can connect it to their prior knowledge. This is confusing because I think this will happen next because, so this is important too, especially with this, because they're going to be inferring. So they think something will happen because maybe they saw a picture in the book. So it'll give them an idea, well, maybe if I see this, then this is going to happen because this happened in the story. So I would first give the students a chance to think independently. So I will give them 3 to 4 minutes to think by themselves. And then I would ask them to come to pair with another person and think about their story map. And I would flip through the story just to kind of give them some ideas about the story, have them look at the pictures, just to trigger something that they think might happen that has to do with the characters, the setting, the problem, or the solution. And for my lesson, it would be a small group, so they would get more of an opportunity to look at the book individually if they needed to also, instead of it being a whole class of 20 might be a little more difficult. So I'm going to ask one of my 2 students to share something that them and their partner talked about that has to do with the characters. Who do you think the characters were in the story?
Tim and Sam.
And who was Tim? Who do you think Tim is?
Boy.
A boy. And who do you think Sam might be?
The whale.
I think that's a pretty good prediction, so we'll keep that in mind as we're reading our story. So then after the 2 would talk in a pair, I would have the whole group come together and bring all of their ideas together. So I will ask some of my students to share some of their ideas. So what was something that you came up with for the problem? What do you think that they were trying to solve throughout the whole story?
That Sam is lost and needs to get back to his home, the sea.
Good. And how do you think they're going to solve that? Was there something in the story that made you infer or predict what they're going to do to get him back to the sea?
There's a picture that showed the boy hooking the whale to his bike, so maybe that's how they'll get him back to the sea.
Good, and that's a good strategy, looking at the pictures. We don't have to always read every word to know what goes on in the story. It's a good reading strategy if we look at the pictures. And that's good for also our struggling readers who may not know how to read without assistance. So that is a good reading strategy, to look at the pictures to see what's going to happen in our story and to get you thinking about what's going to happen. So after I would have them come together, we would read the story and I would have the students fill out the same chart, and I will have them fill out the paper, and I'll have them compare what they filled out at the beginning of the story before we read and at the after, and they can compare those two to see if they came up with different things, if some of the things that they inferred at the beginning were true, if their predictions were true or if they were false, and maybe how we could have looked at the story a little differently at the beginning, how we could have looked at it a little more in depth to figure out our character setting, problem, and solution. And that's it. So I'll have questions posted for you guys on the forum, and thanks for watching.